Baby, I run to it like you owe me, bring it back. No, it ain't my birthday, but come and make it clap. Oh, let's do it, I'm on tap. And she gon' throw this whack. Shake it, work it, twerk it, come and do it for a man.
Audio purposes, you know what time it is. Boom, 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 bow, 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 bow. Yo, what's goody? Get me. We back outside, baby. It's your boy, Kish. Oh, God, I got to start like that. Oh, God, I turn into a YouTuber. Yes, me, Mr. Kish Fantastic. You don't know what time it is. What is this, I wonder? Let's call this a relaunch, a reboot, whatever you want to call it. But we are back outside, baby. I Feel Fantastic podcast episode 1 is right now. You get me? One thing I'm trying to learn to do is stop swearing with the YouTube and all that stuff. But yeah, first and foremost, shout out everybody who's ever just supported anything I've had to do podcast wise. I've heard a few people like, since I kind of stopped doing them, I've had a couple of people like literally hit me up and be like, yo, like, you ever gonna do that again? Or I enjoyed this episode or this, that. And sometimes when you're just making stuff and throwing it out to the algorithm, you can kind of get lost in like what's going on. But like really, it's like, yeah, people are actually paying attention to things, you know what I'm saying? So I am eternally grateful. But yes, this is the first episode of I Feel Fantastic. I'm not going to make this the longest episode in the world just because I'm still testing a few things out, timing wise, camera wise, lighting wise, all of that good stuff. But I'm making sure I can actually be consistent. So secondly, if you've seen like Haters Podcast and stuff, shout out to everybody who contributed to that, everybody who I worked with on that one. You know, it's a shame it couldn't come to what it was supposed to have been, but at the same time, we are back with a new, refreshed and revitalized energy, and that is primarily dependent on moi. It gets me. So, you know, I ain't worried about anyone editing anything. I'm not worried about anyone posting anything. Do it all on me, which is a nice, healthy dose of responsibility, which we all need sometimes. So, yes, we are here. I've got a few little topics and stuff. I don't want to get too much into the whole, like, whatever. And also, I have a tendency of rambling on. So, I kind of really need to start paying attention to how long I talk for, because I don't want these to be much longer than a certain amount of time. And I don't want this episode to be longer than half an hour. Otherwise, I have to switch batteries and do a whole bunch of extra stuff. And I'm still working out the logistics. But, yeah, it is very lit. I Feel Fantastic. What is this going to be? What is this podcast? I did an episode like this on the last podcast that I did as well. But as always, it's just to kind of set the tone. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, you see me here. I am by myself. I do have some help and will hopefully have some help. Those people will be announced as they come along. But primarily, I just think it's massively important. Why does I Feel Fantastic exist? I just feel like it's very important. I feel like I have a lot to offer in terms of what I have to say, you know, as everybody who makes a podcast does. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I got a lot to offer. I feel like there is a particular space which is just missing within the YouTube algorithm, especially in regards to like the style of music. So primarily, if you don't know who I am and somehow you're watching this off the ground podcast with some random dude, shout out to you lot, because people that be doing that stuff. But if you don't know who I am, I'm a musician. I go by Kish Fantastic. Kish, Pay Your Penance, Mr. Fantastic, Lord Fantastic, all that good stuff. Your mum's favorite friend, all that good extra stuff. So I make music primarily. And for the longest time, the reason I wanted to make the podcast in the first place was just because I don't feel like there's not very much of a space for, let's say, UK underground alternative music, whatever you want to call it. At one point, people were crying whenever you called it underground music. When I had my blog, Paradogen, everyone was crying when you called it underground music. And now everybody's embracing underground music. I don't know what it is anymore. But yeah, there's not really a space, and I feel like it's really missing, man. Like, I know people are going to see this, because what people have a tendency of doing is seeing some of the things I'm doing and just miraculously doing them at the same time. So I remember the last time I did a podcast, there was a certain set of people that I'm working with. I ain't even going to get into that because that's for later podcast episodes. But yeah, they just miraculously like dropped a podcast at the same time that they were supposed to be editing the one that we had made. Took over 3 months to get edited, and in the meantime, their own podcast came out. It was a bit strange, and you know, I'm not going to throw out any accusations. But yeah, I think at this particular stage, it's just about me, you know, creating a space for that, for people to tell their stories, to talk about different things, to have discussions. One of the biggest things I feel like in regards to this UK alternative scene is the journalism is so skewed and unfair, man. Like, I didn't want to call it unfair, but it's like, you know, if you're not in particular, so, you know, I'll elaborate on this as we go on a few further episodes, but if you're not parts of particular circles and certain things like that, people are just not checking for what you do in a particular type of way. And let's say you manage to somehow upset, you know, the little circle, I was going to use a certain word, but people are going to think I'm talking about them, but a certain circle of people, then unfortunately it's like, you know, we don't have enough of an industry to kind of like blackball people, but that kind of happens. And I feel like there's a number of talented artists that I feel like in many different capacities, places, they would have gone viral by now if they had some of the same coverage on some of the work that they've done. But as I learned from the first time running a blog and doing stuff, this is all business. And I had to pay attention to that. In my head, I'm just like, yo, we do this because we love music, right? When in fact, it's more about, you know, traffic. It's like anything with money. Do you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you think you're doing things. If something's for profit, it's likelihood that money's their first target. So it's the same sort of thing. Traffic is people's first targets. So people often talk about the same people, be uber friendly with everybody, with the same people, whatever the case might be. And it's about what they feel are going to get enough traffic, which is cool. But I just do think that considering the amount of, you know, people that are doing really cool things, and in all genres too, not just rap music, but in all genres, I just think some non-biased journalism would be really nice. Like, you know, guys, why aren't we doing that a bit more? Why is there, like, shout out Loud House, because, you know, if you know the law, you know the law, innit? But what I will say is, like, Loud House, like, where has there been a channel like Loud House since? Do you know what I'm saying? Primarily pushing and actually, like, showcasing UK, not just, like, posting people's music videos or just doing shows. And I know I was somebody who was doing that at a certain stage. It was important at that stage. But I don't know if people, you know, don't seem to get it, but it's like the more contributing factors to something, the more it survives. Do you know what I'm saying? So again, if people are posting music videos as well as doing cyphers and freestyles, and then as well as having a podcast space to go back to or to go and do their thing, then you would see how much more of the journalism would be fair, equal, fleshed out, interesting things would be said, a lot more than the current vision of, you know, the people that are popular at the moment. And I hate to sound like somebody who hates on that. I think it's great. I just think you need all elements, as you said. So again, as of right now, it's quite shambles. There's not a lot going on, man. If people aren't putting on shows and, you know, look up my brand or whatever, then it's kind of like, where are the spaces where people are having discussions? Where are the spaces where people are, you know, talking about music, genre, processes, letting the fans and people see these things as you know, that inspires them as well as makes them more in tune to who the person is, you know? And so many of these platforms have provided things that I feel like are very tailored for one certain set of things. So whether that's, you know, you're just doing cyphers and freestyles, which is, you know, tailored for a certain set of artists, but when we're doing UK alternative or underground, whatever you want to call it, it is all types of genres. I feel like there's many different ways you could showcase that, having more people speak about their art and certain things like that. So I just feel like it's massively important to create a space where people can have free discussions, you know, non-biased stuff as well. As I keep saying, like, bro, I don't care about whether I like you or not. If things are happening, things are happening. You can't knock that. Do you know what I'm saying? But I just don't think there's enough journalism. There's people out there that are making noise that will never get, you know, pushed, because, or not even pushed, but never, because the traffic isn't enough, because these people aren't cool with a certain set of people. This person doesn't want to upset that person. Let's try and get some non-biased journalism going on here. So that's primarily a part of, you know, why I want to do this kind of thing. But in terms of this podcast, it's not just going to be just about like music and stuff like that. I'm trying to do a lot more segmented stuff and segmented works, because I have a range of things to offer. I'm multifaceted. I'm not just, you know, one of the better rappers in the bloody country, which I can say for, you know, a fact. Fight me about it. Don't believe me, go listen to my music. But regardless, yeah, you know, multifaceted. You know, there's a lot more to offer than just music, and especially with the current, I don't want to say political climate, but let's just say world climate. I think it's super important that we're having a lot more discussions and being a bit more open about things. So I say all that to say, I'm gonna start having some segments. How I organize these, I'm not 100% sure on when, on what, and how. I'm gonna try and keep it as structured as possible. But my segments are mainly and primarily going to include music. So it will be topics about music, largely primarily like stuff that's tailored around the music that I make, the people that I know of, and things like that. Again, just because I feel like somebody needs to focus on that kind of thing. I'm not going to be doing Mr. like review and chatting all day about other artists, but at the same time, it's still just like, I think it's important to have a space where I go, you know what, you know who people haven't heard of? This person. Do you know what I'm saying? You know who people haven't heard of? This person. You know what's a really cool song that I think you lot should go and check out right now? This person, that person. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know what his name is. I don't know how he says it. I don't know if it's Does on the Wave or WAV, whatever. I did a like a music video review thing, so I've talked about him a couple of times. But again, I just one of his new songs, I Like Thick Girls, very interesting and funny stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Stuff that I feel like can go viral in another capacity if people are actually being a bit less biased about things. But again, unless you're part of certain circles or being shared by specific people, then unfortunately, let me just say this as well, like, guys, it's okay to have your own individual opinion. I feel like a lot of you lot, like, I don't think people realize how mass mentality minded we are as as human beings. So the point I make to say with that is, like, it's okay to like something. Don't wait for it to be cool for you to have to like it. That's my point. I feel like I'm quite good at being objective and going, you know what? This I Like Thick Girls song, this song is hilarious. It's actually very well done. It's very comical, but as in very well done technique wise, rap technique wise. Production's nice on it. The feature goes hard on it as well. And you know what I'm saying? Like, there's many things that we could look at and we can talk about to the degrees of that. But it's okay for you to have that. You don't have to wait for like a blog to post it for you to be like, oh, this artist is hard. It's okay. The more of you that have individual stances, the better it will be. So, I say all that to say, music, focusing primarily on that as well. Not as well, but just on music. I'm really going to iron out my speech watching these things back as well, because, gosh, I'm so, like, ADHD. But, anyways, gaming, as you lot know, if you lot follow me in any capacity, you lot know I be doing bear gaming, playing bear games. I've done, like, streaming, and I do streaming occasionally, sometimes consistently. It's not something I maybe should have taken as seriously. I don't know, like, you have your hand in so many pots sometimes that you end up just not doing things properly. So I've always been kind of like a half-hearted streamer, but it's there, and I do it consistently. I've got my channel, which you will see some of the clips that will come off of this and certain things like that. But I don't know, it's just very important to me. It's always been super important to me, and it's just something that I feel like is just, I don't know, I just like talking about it. There's a lot that goes on within gaming. Also, that kind of like reflects our political climate in very strange and interesting ways and that kind of thing. So, it won't be nothing too heavy. It's not going to primarily be that, but I think there's a lot of spaces that, you can have these discussions, make these things work, and I'm just gonna do it because I feel like it's cool and I do what I want. So there will be that one. There will be the life and mental health segments. These may not be segments in terms of just like actual titles and stuff, but just stuff I'll go into. These are like the plot points of like what I'm gonna be doing here. Because you know me, if you know me, I'm big on philosophy, very layman's philosophy from what I would consider, but still probably more philosophy than your average person. But yeah, I'm very big on the philosophy. I'm very big on life. I've been through all types of trials and tribulations that I am very happy to speak on in a particular way. I feel like as I've gotten older, I've learned how to articulate that a bit better, and also just how to not be like kind of toxic with it, if that makes sense. So I think it's very valuable. I stopped sharing a lot of stuff. Certain things came back to kind of like bite me because I used to share so much. So I stopped sharing, and I think it's healthy to do to a point, but also as an artist, I would just like to be somebody who, is relatable, who you can have these discussions with, and that this is things that have happened, or I don't know, like it's real life, man. Like it's all good and well, especially in this climate, as I keep saying, bro. Like being the cool guy just ain't enough no more, man. Have something of value to offer. Do you know what I'm saying? I say that as somebody who's trying to work on themselves every single day, but have something of value to offer. I don't think people are very aware of mental health, philosophy, and certain things, especially with the amount that we've got going on sometimes. So I think it's important, especially as musicians or somebody who's going to be focusing on our music. See, I'm talking to just musicians, but like, especially as somebody who's, primarily kind of focused on music and things like that. Sometimes you be chasing things to the point where you don't even realize you're destroying your mental health in the process of doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be a massively important thing to me, man. Mental health, life, you can never, like, you never stop learning. You never do. And I think a lot of people really get to certain stages where they feel like they've experienced it all. Or sometimes you go through so much trauma, you feel like you've experienced it all. It's like, what more do I have to learn from this or this situation or that situation? But you'd be surprised, my friend. You would be surprised how much you have to learn. So there's going to be that. And then, of course, there's going to be, I say of course, but like, bro, there's going to be anime and films. There's going to be my little section for that. One thing I don't see enough of, like, in these like YouTube spaces, maybe I'm not in the right places, so direct me to them if I need to be in a better place. But one thing I feel like I don't see a lot of is kind of like, bro, like, considering like anime is such a widely debated topic and a widely debated thing, I don't know, like, there's like, and films as well in general, I just feel like there's not a lot of discussion for like people my age and younger that I feel like would be nicer to have more. Like, put it this way, I guess I'm not gonna go into that because that's my whole philosophy behind it, and I can end up badly articulate it. But what I do want to do, let's talk about some things I want to do. One, I do want to get a co-host at some point. I do want to get a woman co-host, or somebody who is not a man, should I say, just because I feel like those are the best podcasts that have a perspective of not just like four men all from the same demographic sharing, you know what I'm saying, how they feel about stuff. So yeah, if you are interested in, you know, podcasting, chatting, that does go for males though as well. I'll probably down to have like one or two consistent co-hosts, if that makes sense, but and guests as well, but again, talking primarily co-hosts. But also, yeah, just in terms of like anime, what I want to do is I want to have a lot more anime debates, man. There's not enough podcasts and stuff out there with just like anime debates from people that are just like, that are around, you know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is like, you know, everyone has their tribes, and I feel like sometimes them tribes can get a bit cliquey. As somebody who has watched so much anime, probably more anime than a lot of people that would consider themselves like weebs and certain things like that, whenever I did try and get into the anime community, I always just felt like it was a bit closed off. Like, when people have their things, they have their things, and it's not closed off as in people are friendly and stuff, but it does get a bit cliquey with that as well. I don't know, when I was experiencing it, I was just like, right, like, people really don't want to extend themselves too much, or it's kind of the same things that you'd get everywhere. So I do want to create just some more like accessible spaces for people to have these discussions that you don't necessarily have to be wearing like a fucking, jeez, excuse my language, how long did it take for me to swear? A good 7 minutes. I'm proud of myself. But yeah, where people don't have to, you know, I ain't got a Naruto headband on, do you know what I'm saying, with an Akatsuki jacket on, or, do you know what I'm saying, I'm not dressed like Hisoka or something, like, while talking about, there's nothing wrong with that, like, nothing. I think that's very cool, freedom of expression, people expressing themselves. I might do it one day, but, you know, I've got videos, I shot videos at Comic-Con, like, you know, where I'm dressed up as a vampire, kind of, do you know what I'm saying, like, I'm not against like whatever, but what I mean is just like, I don't know, I think sometimes when you, as somebody who's not always in the spaces, you go there, you look at these things, and it's like, maybe that's not for me because look at these, like, they're doing something completely different, when it's like, nah, like, more time you'll have more things in common and you will actually think. So I think it's mad important to just like create spaces where you can have these discussions, do these things, and yeah, whatever. So long story short, I want to have anime debates, you know, top fives, pulling people in, do you know what I'm saying? If you're somebody who watches bare anime, let me know, because I would love to pull you in, get you on this table, rude boy, get me back a couple of magnums or a fruit juice or a water, whatever you know what I'm saying, whatever you like to do in your spare time, whatever your vices are, preferably no hard drugs, that won't be happening here, but you know what I'm saying, like, whatever you like to do, we can sit down, have a little discussion about that, you get me? And I'm gonna tell you for 25 minutes straight why I don't like One Piece. Well, I'm gonna tell you for 25 minutes straight why I don't like Code Geass. I'm gonna tell you for 25 minutes straight why Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of the greatest animes of all time. I'm gonna tell you for 35 minutes straight why Hunter x Hunter is maybe the greatest shonen of all time. Fight me about it. Me and my brethren were having a debate. Me and my two brethren were having a debate about Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood versus Attack on Titan. You lot tell me what's better. Furthermore, when I finish all of this, I'm going to clip this. I'm a very short clip. I'm going to need you lot to tell me what's better, Fullmetal Alchemist or Attack on Titan. I just want to see the general consensus. Don't worry about which one I think is. You get me? Just know I got my pick. I know I'm very serious about that pick. I probably just kind of gave it away technically, but whatever. So, yeah, you lot let me know. When I put this, I'm going to do this poll. Let me know what's better, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood or Attack on Titan. But aside from that, yeah, it's just going to be, you know, I just want to create a fun space, man. There's not enough fun spaces, especially within the side of music that I'm in. I'm not saying that nobody's doing anything fun, but it's all very like businessy, or come and do a freestyle, or come and do this, or come and do that. I want to create a lot more of a fun space, which I've tried to do in certain things before, but obviously, you know, they work out or don't work out with levels of consistency and what you're able to do. So now that I've got a few more things accessible, I'm feeling a lot more on it. That's another thing as well, talking about mental health, feeling on it, feeling like you actually want to do it, because a lot of the time I'm forcing myself to do stuff that's like, bro, I'm not happy doing any of this. So, you know, here we are at the stage where we want to put on these shows and want to do these podcasts, and I want to make music. That's when it's, you know, that's when it's going to come off the nicest, you know what I'm saying? That's when it's going to come off, you know what I'm saying, kind of healthy, all that good stuff. So yeah, man, I just want to create a fun space where I can just, you know, be myself. You can be yourself so that you can feel fantastic. I can feel fantastic. And we can all try and duck and dive and dodge this terrible climate and absolutely scary world that is flying around us as of right now. So, yeah, man, it's, you know, there's a lot of things I could go into. I also want to do that as well. Like, I'm going to throw it out there. I'll be throwing it out there every other episode. Because again, I've done a lot of YouTubing in my life, not actual YouTubing, but watching YouTube from certain spaces. I watch a lot of battle rap as well, so I've done a lot of like watching the media from there and stuff like that, aside from podcasts and things like that. Guys, you lot should be smarter as well about how you do your business and certain things like that. So I don't care if this gets like 25 views, 30 views. If I'm a clothing brand, unless I'm not even necessarily a clothing brand, I don't care who you are. I don't want to say sponsors, because it's not really going to be a sponsor thing like that as of right now. But get in tune, man. You see me wearing this like Junji Ito top. I would love to be able to promote some brands, some people. I don't care if I hang it on the back. Like, I don't care if it's whatever. I think sometimes we can get so business orientated that we can forget the value of doing things in a particular way. I'm not asking for free stuff. You lot can feel free to take these t-shirts back, take whatever the hell you lot, you know what I'm saying? If you lot give me a ring, feel free to take it back straight afterwards, whatever. But I think just being smart and giving yourselves like a double, like a win-win situation. So whether that's giving me clothes to wear for a podcast, because boy, I'm just going to wear black t-shirts if it gets, I'm not sitting here. Brother, it's just going to be all black t-shirts at a certain point, because I am not sitting here dressing up every day. As you see, I've got the hair scarf on. I just about put my things on for this one. Even what my necklace looks like, it's all on the side of my neck. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So it'd be nice to, aside from clothes, whatever it is, man, I think it would just be smart that, you know, more people look at how they can share their stuff, get it about, but also just networking. And I think podcasts in these spaces aren't used enough, especially considering, you know, such a DIY scene in the you know, UK underground, whatever, or in any other genre, to be honest, grime, drill, whatever the case might be. You'll be surprised at how many extra ads you can get on something by just putting it in the right places sometimes. And I've always been very big on that. I would much rather wear one of my friends' brands. You know, I've got a t-shirt of like a tape that I did from before, and I'm only not wearing that because I don't like how it looks on me. Do you know what I'm saying? But I would way rather wear those things and help somebody else, or, you know, I got my Outreach hoodie. Shout out Outreach. I did a show with them. They're like a brand that I did a show with. You know, if I didn't wear my jumper yesterday and it wasn't a bit dirty, then I would just wear it now. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think being smart about that as well. You know, it's not about just sending me stuff, but feel free to have any discussions about, you know, things, little ventures, music, songs, whatever. You know, if you feel like your shit is hard, don't be scared to tell me. I'm a lot more friendly than some of you lot think. I just don't be playing no games with you lot, because I don't know you lot. I don't know why I have to explain that so many damn times to people, but it's like, bro, I'm very playful, extremely playful. If you know me, if you don't know me very well, stop playing with me, because I am not here to be your friend. I've seen that, and people have tried that with me many times, man. And, you know, I've been bitten in the proverbial behind, or, you know, I've seen where I just don't have the tolerance for it, bro. Stop it. You know? So, yeah, I say all that to say, yeah, just being smart about the spaces you're in. So, again, if you don't got anything you don't feel like you don't want to promote, feel free, man, because I'd love to talk about some of these things and talk about what more people are doing. And again, when I say all UK alternative music, it's not just primarily about, like, okay, just all, but I want every genre. Do you know how much music I listen to? I don't care if you're a DJ. I don't care if you're a sound design person. I don't care if you do costume design in the theatre show, I guarantee you're going to have something of value in this creative industry to offer this podcast, to share, to discuss. Even if you want to get things off your chest, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to really well, yeah, it depends. We'll see in it. But trust me, this will be a safer space, and this will be a space that's just kind of just actually being a bit more honest with things, you know what I'm saying? Because as I said, it's all very corporate right now, and everything's behind a label distribution. There's not much journalism going on for what we got going on, and I think there's amazing things going on right about now. So, that is primarily what this podcast will be around. But obviously, I'll shift it. I might have some games. I might have some other stuff. I might I might do a quiz. I might do an anime debate. Do you know what I'm saying? This versus this. It might be a full episode of just anime. I'll probably shoot those on different days. That's one thing I will say. I think I'll do it a little bit like No Jumper and have the main pod. And then if I go into a niche thing. So for example, anime debate, I can't have that for a 25-minute segment in the show. Because otherwise we're going to be there all day. So you could have a literal 25-minute, 40-minute debate that I would shoot exclusively by itself. Do you know what I'm saying? So I shoot that, put that out as extra content, boom, 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 anime edition, whatever, clips. But it's gonna be fun, man. I've spoken to a couple of people already about certain things. There's one person in particular, you know exactly who you are, my guy. But yeah, he's just kind of giving me a lot more confidence to just push it, So, we gonna get active, baby. We gonna get active. I ain't even gonna go too much into what's going on right now. All I'm, because I need to check the time on his things. I don't know how long I need to get all the logistics together. So this will be more introductory kind of thing. But also as well, the streets are finished, man. I just want to say that, bro. As somebody who's growing up in the ends, some of the more rougher parts of South London, the streets are dead. Certain man of artists snitching. I've always said this though anyway, people just be acting like this. I don't know. The UK has a real love, the way people worship Little Durk and some of these people. It's just kind of scary. So seeing the whole Young Thug snitching thing, I probably would have had a lot more to say about it if I'd have shot this podcast probably a few days back, because I was a bit more what is going on? But it also doesn't surprise me at all. Bro, this is why I always say just face forward and worry about what you're doing, because you'd be surprised at how many people will call you out because of their own inadequacies. And I mean that in regards to Gunner and certain things. You sit here and make people out to be snitches all day, and then there's, information coming out. Why these man out? Stop trying to tie the street thing. All these hood, bro, all the man them out there, you know what time it is. Stop trying to tie the street thing with the music thing. It's not gonna work, man. It don't work. And all you lot just take up after your favorites. That's why Fredo's running around in God knows wherever the hell he's at. I'm not saying that's because of another person, but what I'm saying is these values, the way we look up to the people and try and emulate and do certain things. Stop trying to, bro. If you've done certain things, you don't need to talk about it. Me, I've done certain things, not even on roads like that, but regardless, in all aspects of life, I've done certain things I don't need to talk about, my friend, because I've done them. I really did it. I was, that's not pertaining to street stuff necessarily, but I've done certain things, so I don't need to, if you sold certain things, you don't need to talk, you just don't need to talk about it. That's what I don't understand. So I say all that to say the streets are dead. I feel like the UK has a real love relationship for the whole gang thing sometimes, and how people, I don't know, man. It's I've heard bars if you ain't got something in your blade, stop rapping and them things there. It's bro, since when did rapping become dictated by how many times you've yinged a man, bro? I don't understand that. I've never understood that. Do you know what I'm saying? So again, it's somebody who, stays on the much cleaner side of life, but is also, growing up around a lot of things. It's not very nice, and I just say that the streets are done, and these are prime examples. Some of your favorites are artists snitching, bro. They really are, man, and that's why it's better to just sometimes just go and do your damn thing and not worry about what the next man's doing or talking about. Do you know what I'm saying? So, the streets are done. It's kind of long. And it is what it is. So, yeah, I ain't even gonna go too much, because otherwise I feel like I'm gonna start chatting in about a whole bunch of different other stuff, and I got bare different segments and things that we'll start working out and doing as we do, but this is primarily a pilot, and And like I said, make sure you check out my new EP as well. I should probably talk a bit more about that. But post-traumatic sanctimonious death, PTSD, that is out now. Brand new EP. I say brand new, but it's been out for a couple of weeks. But alright, so I almost had my timing perfect. I almost had my timing on type of timing and doing my timing thing. You get me? I almost had my timing perfect. But it turns out I didn't. So I'm almost there. 29. I need to figure out what it is, because this camera basically only films for 29 minutes, 59 seconds at a time. So the minute that happens, it cuts out. So I had some bit of information. I'll probably put that out as a separate clip or something else somewhere, or maybe just even tie it in a little bit with what's going on here, edit it all together, get that out there. But yeah, I just want to sign off properly. Do you know what I'm saying? So again, yeah, shout out to everybody who's contributed in the past. This is a new thing. I'm just glad to be in a space where I'm having a lot of fun right about now. As I said, source code, IFeelFantastic. What am I talking about? Source code, Runaway Love, Walk Down, Don't Remind Me. These are 4 visuals that are off my new EP that are out now. 4 visuals out of 9 songs. Can't really complain about that. Do you know what I'm saying? And yeah, like I said, it's going to be fun just being back in the space, you get me, where we talk about a lot of stuff, do all that type of things. Shout out to everyone who's supported. You know what I'm saying? I see you lot. I see you lot doing your thing. I see you lot, supporting. I'm a bit neurodivergent, so I really notice when people are supporting or when they're not supporting or doing whatever the case might be. But yeah, man, that's all I'd say as well. Just you lot remember, I love all of you lot, but again, I've always thought it was weird, and I don't know why people act like I'm weird for feeling like this, but it's like, again, if you're gonna be my friend or act like you are my friend, like an actual friend of mine, then I would expect you to kind of support the things I do. I don't know, way too many man in my DMs yeah, Keon, man, I miss you, I love you, bro, and then pay attention to I put out 15 different things and then I get 1 like or 2 likes on them, and then it's all yeah, my brother again, and chatting to me. I know people have this thing where it's your closest friends might not pay attention to whatever. Yeah, but also I've learned what genuineness is, and people will pay attention to you if they're actually interested in what you're doing. Do you know what I'm saying? Not just sit here telling you these things when I've got all the analytics and the data that suggests completely otherwise. I'm not an idiot. Don't play with me. So yeah, you know what time it is. I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna sign off properly because I'm gonna turn this into another half an hour podcast. But I love you lot, gang stuff. You know what time it is. But bow, stop playing. But what? Huh? Wow. Bow, stop. Bow, stop playing with me. Back outside.
Baby, I run to it like you owe me, bring it back. No, it ain't my birthday, but come and make it clap. Oh, let's do it, I'm on tap. And she gon' throw this whack. Shake it, work it, twerk it, come and do it for a man.